Welcome, friends! This is Kody. Thanks for joining me down another rabbit hole. I'm sitting on the bathroom floor like an hour after my kids went to bed, obsessively looking up Sister Wives clips to prove my point to myself. I just spent a bunch of time looking up clips of Robyn and her kids and their attempted integration into the Brown family over the past 10 years. I'm really thinking to myself, so many things aren't adding up. In the current season, Kody is acting as a mouthpiece for how Christine never welcomed or tried to mother Robyn's children.
Christine was great at being willing to mother Janelle's kids, okay? But she was never willing to mother or be a good mother to Robyn's kids.
Okay. Does anyone else get the feeling that all of this is coming directly from the mouth of Robyn? And she's basically speaking through Kody with like her long tongue coming through. I picture it like a snake tongue coming through the back of Kody's head. And she talks a bunch of shit about Christine and Janelle. Look, I think what's going on here is that Robyn came into this family thinking that Mary was going to be her buddy because Mary had essentially been a matchmaker between Kody and Robyn. But Mary wasn't really happy. She wasn't happy before Robyn came, during like the integration of the two families, or after. And she ended up looking elsewhere for love, as we all know. And now she lives totally separately from the rest of the family in Lehi, Utah with her own B&B. She is doing her own thing. So Robyn got left behind without her matchmaker and support system. Mary was no longer there to bolster Robyn's position when dealing with the other sister wives. And it soon became obvious Robyn and her children were not going to seamlessly blend with Janelle and Christine's families, which encompassed all the rest of Kody's kids. Okay, so then instead of Robyn, Kody, and any of Robyn's kids taking some personal ownership and meeting people at least halfway for what was going on in the family, they drew up gates around themselves. They grew more and more bitter, and they ended up losing all basic connections with the other sister wives. Now they sit on top of a hill in Arizona, surrounded by Robyn's knickknacks and weird, crazy porcelain dolls, blindly blaming everyone else in the family. But let's take a look at some of the most interesting clips about how this all started.
Clip 1. Fights, tears, and sadness between the kids after moving to Las Vegas. This clip is all about a disagreement that occurred between Christine Brown's son, Peyton, and Robyn Brown's young daughter, Brianna. In the beginning, it seems like it's a simple fight between two siblings or children that are starting to become siblings. There was some physical force used by Peyton, and we know he has a history of doing that at times. But the entire situation gets blown up by the adults around them and disintegrates into a basic shit show.
I was standing there and all of a sudden Brianna comes up to me and she's screaming at the top of her lungs. She goes, "Peyton hit me in the eye." And I was like, "What?" So we've had some problems with Peyton and Garrison picking on my little kids.
So Robyn Brown's daughter is having a little bit of a cry fest here because she got hit, and that makes sense. She's young. I do want to point out that this is just a little while after they moved away from their hometown in Utah, that they had all lived in together for so long, and they had moved out to Las Vegas, where everybody was still trying to find their way. And expectedly, the kids and the adults were having a hard time adjusting. In my own experience with my own children, sometimes kids will take their frustrations out on younger siblings, especially when they're in a situation like they're moving, they have no control, their parents aren't letting them feel like they have control. I've made these mistakes all before a million times. And, sometimes it's not even a mistake. There's nothing you can do as a parent. They're going through changes and it's hard on them. And sometimes a younger sibling is just like easy to take that out on. And it's not fair to the younger sibling, but I can also understand the psychology behind what's going on.
Dad, don't do that. Everyone do to each other. That poked her in the eye. Are you kidding me?
These kids have been doing this way too long, way too much, and something needed to be said now.
Okay, so here comes Big Bad Mary. I don't know exactly what she's talking about. Like, maybe there have been a lot of instances where Christine and Janelle's kids have been awful towards Robyn's kids. We don't really, I'm not seeing that here. I'm seeing like a sibling disagreement that got physical and that needs to be handled. Brianna shouldn't be physically like hurt by her older sibling. Absolutely not. But it's not something where like suddenly these boys are just awful and they're intentionally destroying the lives of Robyn's kids. The main issue I will always have with Mary and her parenting skills that she's displayed on the Sister Wives show is that ultimately what Mary did is she only had one child, and then over time she segregated herself in her own little apartment in their polygamous house in Utah. We've gotten plenty of knowledge about this. Christine and Janelle have said their kids weren't even allowed to walk through Mary's apartment to see one another. Mary made sure that she had full control of her house with one child. I have no disrespect for Mary for only having one child, but let's be honest, it's much different to have one child versus 6 children. It absolutely is. I only have 2 kids, and I cannot even begin to understand the pandemonium and the craziness you probably have to deal with when you are raising 2 children versus 6 children. Mary's idea of what is normal and how kids should act, it's going to be different than what Christine and Janelle have had to grow accustomed to and deal with 6 kids in their small apartments. So Mary blows in there like a tornado to deal with these kids.
You guys, these are your brothers and sisters whether you like it or not. And you better start treating them like it. Don't give me that. I see it. It's passed down. It's from how you and you and you and all of you guys treat each other.
So Mary's pointing out all the older boys. Of course, Mary didn't have a biological boy, and blaming them for everything that's going on with Robyn's younger kids. Keep in mind, all of these kids, not just Robyn's kids, are dealing with some very recent and very hard major changes in their lives.
And it's absolutely ridiculous. I, for one, am tired of it. Just saying, I'd like to have some backup from moms if anybody backs me up. To me, the timing was completely off.
So Mary got mad and shouted at the kids, and now she wants the other moms to come in and back her aggravated behavior up. I do understand that probably all of the wives right now are also like frustrated and tired. All of the kids feel the same way, and it's not an easy time for any of them. And I'm not saying that Mary is totally in the wrong here. She's trying to help out these younger children. But in the context of everything we know that happens in Sister Wives before and after the show, I think we can really see how this disagreement is a lot about parenting styles and about the fact that in some ways, Robyn and Mary were pushing the rest of the family to do everything they could to accept and support Robyn and her kids. But the rest of the family, Janelle, Christine, and their children, were struggling because Kody not only made them take on a new family and new siblings, but made them move out of their home state, away from their family, away from their church, away from their friends. Those kids and those moms were going through a lot. Robyn and her children were not the only ones going through it.
On Mary talking to the kids and yelling at them and getting after them. So it's best to just let things slide where kids are being mean to other kids. It's just good to just let that go. I would have preferred to just been able to talk to Peyton because I didn't know that anybody else was involved.
Okay, so here to me, Christine is taking ownership. Like my child, Peyton, he's the one that needed to be talked to, and I was willing to do it. It's my child. My child was the problem. No one else was involved. I feel like Christine is very willing to be like, look, there's a problem here. I can talk to him about it.
I was so angry. If Mary had not done this, I would have taken them all back to the campsite, and the night would have been over.
I want to punch this man in the face. Where were you if Mary wouldn't have done this? You get out there and you do it, Kody. I'm so sick of how absent Kody always is. The wives are doing it all here, friends. And yeah, Kody's the problem maker. He brought Robyn into the family. He brought her kids in. He moved them from Utah to Las Vegas. He moved them from Las Vegas to Arizona. It's on Kody, and he implodes a bomb on these kids and then walks off and lets the moms deal with it. That's why they're unhappy and they fight so much amongst each other, because Kody sets off these bombs and leaves behind the charred remains of broken-hearted children. Then he leaves his 4 wives to deal with it and pick up the pieces.
But do you think it did any good? I very much disagree with you, Christine, that it was bad timing.
Ugh, see what I mean? The wives are just left to argue amongst themselves about all the shit that's going on, while Kody sits there like, if I would have been there, then I would have been someone to do something. Where were you? You do something. And now we hear from the older kids who are going to talk openly and honestly about how hard everything has been on them lately.
Why our family fights a lot is because no one likes Vegas.
We were basically chased out of Utah. We had to move somewhere where we don't know anyone. We didn't know anyone. We don't have any family here. We don't have anything.
Kody Brown has put his kids in a really hard situation here.
We know Dayton, Aurora, and Brianna come from a different family, but you can't tell us to change. Yeah, we're making changes. They have to make changes as well.
It was a situation. You can't expect a massive amount of change to come along without situations boiling over. That's what happened.
Oh my goodness, these kids are more emotionally intelligent than some of the parents here. And I give them a lot of credit. I've made so many mistakes as a parent, and I don't have the greatest emotional intelligence myself. So I'm really impressed with them, especially Logan. You know, he's basically like, yeah, this is really hard. We're all going through hard times. There's been so much change and so much is expected of us. Of course, there are going to be disagreements, arguments, and things will boil over. He's making the point that this isn't all about them. There are other things that need to be considered here.
I do see the difference of treatment with Dayton and Brianna. I've waited a year thinking it would change, and I don't really see it completely changing. I see it in some cases actually getting worse.
I personally don't remember seeing this on the show, but if you remember, comment below. I would like to have examples of what the other kids were doing to Robyn's kids.
If Dayton, Aurora, and Brianna don't feel like they're a part of this family.
Okay, this is where it starts, and I'm warning you, I'm about to pop off, friends.
They can choose at a certain age to not be with me anymore. They can choose to live with their biological father.
Okay. Everyone can sympathize with Robyn. It's hard to get a divorce. It's hard to have custody issues. It's hard to be a mom and worry that your kids may want to live with their dad someday. But it also is a possibility that it would be okay if your kids wanted to be with their father. That's a really big issue I've always had with Robyn. Okay, I don't know everything about David Jessup, her ex-husband. I've actually been, doing some research about that, and there's just not that much information available. I do know that in the past he has committed acts of violence, and people have said that he wasn't a good person to be married to. But there's not a lot of concrete evidence about exactly what happened. I also know that on the show there were several times where Robyn's kids were joyous, like absolutely filled with joy, to be able to go spend a little bit of time with their dad.
I have a year and a half till Dayton is 13 to cement these families together.
It really bothers me that from the very beginning, Robyn was like, how am I going to be able to manipulate my kids and spoil them and give them whatever they want and make them feel as comfortable as possible so that they will stay with me and never want to go back to their dad?
And have him feel like this is his family.
While I can understand some of this, I do have to say that this is just an example of how Robyn used manipulation all along to set her and her kids up kind of in this ivory tower. And it just creates a very uneven playing field between Robyn's household and the households of the other wives. Am I right or am I wrong? Leave comments below because maybe I'm crazy.
I'm very concerned about some kind of problems that stem from bullying in my family.
Oh my God, Kody, just shut up. Guys, I don't know if it's because of what I've gone through today with like some really sick kids who are dealing with a lot of shit in their lives, but I don't have time for Kody Brown's bullshit. You're absent. You have nothing to do with this. You're putting it all on the women, and I don't want to hear any of your bullying crap. If anyone's the bully in the family, it's you. Clip number 2, which is from another season when they were in Las Vegas, is just all about Kody Brown being an ass. He's an ass, but he puts on a smile for the camera, and I just want to highlight it here for you.
Look at the camera! And I'm just trying to hold it together. Look down the lens! You look at him!
Clip number 3 is all about a little bit later in Las Vegas when Christine started talking about how it hurts her that Robyn doesn't allow her to babysit her children. We heard before that Christine never accepted Robyn's kids or tried to help. Clearly not true. And we're going to look at a clip now that has some really interesting interactions between the family.
Helping raise my sister I's kids, and my sister I helped me raise my kids. We haven't been able to do that here. It's just we're too busy. We're all doing these different things where we're working.
Christine looks honestly sad that after they moved to Las Vegas, there was a lot less interaction between the wives and their children. And she's saying, like, I loved that interaction. I loved helping raise the other children and having the other wives help me raise my children.
It was really difficult for me when you got a babysitter, because my first thought was, why aren't we good enough?
So here's what's up. Per my research, Robyn had a babysitter from day one that they moved to Las Vegas because she had a family friend, and it gets very complicated. It may be a relative, it may be a friend. There's just like stepsister of a cousin, blah, 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 named Mindy Jessup move in with her and help her take care of her kids. We'll see in some of the clip, she's not only helping taking care of the kids, but she cleans and cooks and does a bunch of other stuff for Robyn. Of course she does, because Robyn can't be bothered to do all of that. And we know from the very beginning of her relationship with Kody, she made it clear that her number one priority is always to spend time with Kody. So obviously, it's not going to work for Robyn to have Christine babysit her kids because she needs basically like someone who's an indentured servant. I think Robyn's fear is that Christine would be looking for more of a give and take, and Robyn can't do that. She can't take Christine's kids and help out. This is all about her life, her kids, and her man, Kody Brown.
It's like, why don't you trust me with your kids? Why wouldn't you ask me first? I didn't get it.
Christine, I'm going to be honest with you. Unless slavery is part of what you're willing to do for Robyn, she's never going to quote unquote trust you with her kids. But don't worry, in several years, she will blame you for being a horrible, selfish sister wife.
Mindy is our niece. She has a teaching degree. She's trying to substitute teaching and get a job here in Las Vegas. I've had to bring in Mindy because she helps take care of kids while we work. And I was thinking, don't you want a relationship with me? Don't you want a relationship with a sister wife? Are you serious right now? Yes, completely. It broke my heart. You're never gonna need me. Never.
Okay. Is it just me, or does it seem like several years ago back in Las Vegas, Christine was really trying to be everything that Robyn is now claiming she always wanted from a sister wife? She tried and she got knocked down and rejected. But somehow, years later, Robyn is the only victim here. Oh my goodness, friends. There are so many more clips, but I've got to move on from this and let it go. I want to show you this one last clip that I think really cements how inappropriate I feel Robyn has been towards Christine specifically, and how everything she's said lately about herself and her kids being integrated into the family just isn't true. Okay, so in clip number 4, they're still in Las Vegas, and Christine has to go out of town, and she's got to coach Kody on how to take care of children she shares with him while she's gone, because he usually doesn't have to do it all by himself, and it's going to be additional work for him.
Her lunch packed, because she doesn't have school lunch.
Now, does Peyton know how to do that?
Peyton can pack her lunch.
Because as soon as I got her up,
Oh, wait. I'm normally going to go over and also help with Saul, so I'll be back and forth.
Yeah, that's great. Peyton will be here too, so her lunch needs to be packed. She needs a book to read at Kimberly's house. Are you right here?
No, I'm not. I'm still,
Okay, I'll wait till you're done. So I know there's a visual confirmation in your eyeballs.
So we can see Kody's pretty much just ignoring Christine here about their children together, but that's pretty much par for the course, and it doesn't have any bearing on the point I'm going to make.
Kody doesn't do everything, like take care of all of the kids. He doesn't. We all take care of them and he'll help, but he doesn't do it all. Okay, Gwendolyn has play practice every day.
Yeah, no, so somebody's got to pick her up.
To like 5 or 6 usually is when play practice gets out.
Okay.
And that's every day she has play practice.
Every day.
I'm giving him details, but please understand I've been giving him these details for
Please take a minute to note Robyn's face here. Her face is saying, how could you talk about Kody Brown, your husband, my husband, so disrespectfully? She's disgusted that Christine would dare to belittle Kody at all in front of the cameras, because Robyn would never have anything negative to say about Kody. And we're going to see more of that in just a bit.
3 days. It has to sink in today. Yeah, you're going to have like 3 days where you get some stuff done.
I'm going to get some stuff done.
Yeah, I'm going to come back to a really clean garage and really organized stuff.
Yeah.
He's not doing any cleaning, Christine. You need to kidnap a nanny like Mindy at Robyn's house to get that kind of shit done.
I think it's no sweat, Kody, taking care of your kids and stuff like that. He does a great job. That's my experience.
Are you about ready to go?
Yeah. Okay, so at Robyn's house, there are never any issues with Kody taking great care of her children.
Okay.
He knows how to get Saul ready for school. He knows how to take him to school. He knows how to manage Ariella. He knows how to feed her, give her a bath. She eats better for him than she does for me.
Okay, so your sister wife and the woman you supposedly want to be friends with just sat across from you and laid out some very specific, honest, and calm issues she's having with leaving Kody alone with the kids. And instead of just like kind of keeping your mouth shut and being like, yeah, that's hard, let me know how I can help, you need to compare and contrast with her how much better and smoother everything always goes at your house.
She's usually wrestling her from the time that I'm putting Solomon to bed.
Mindy's there too.
So what I'll do is I'll get...
Wait. Turn this car around. So you're saying that Mindy is there too? Okay. So things go smoother at your house with Kody, and he's so great with the kids and everything runs absolutely fine without any intervention from you. But you have a full-time nanny living in your home with you, helping you with your kids. Okay, so just to come again, you've got Miss Mindy living in your home full-time, and we all just heard she's some kind of like educational specialist or some shit that you probably made up. And you've got her living in your house full-time. She knows your kids. She knows how everything goes. She's basically a sister wife. And only she doesn't get to have her own children. She only gets to service you and your children. So you've got her living in your house, and you're comparing and contrasting the fact that Christine has to give Kody all these directions, spend some time explaining to him about how it's going to go, but at your house it runs smoother. So the point is, here we see in this interview, Robyn, I feel, really being snooty and inappropriate towards her sister wives. Basically being like, I don't have any of those problems with Kody. I have a great relationship with my husband. I don't know what's wrong with you guys. That's the feeling I get from this interview. Comment below if you feel totally differently, because I read the comments and I want to know what people think. That's why I make these videos, to read your comments and get feedback and potentially change my mind about things, because maybe I'm wrong. But what I'm seeing is Robyn just being a snooty jerk here. And then when you turn around and look at the footage, you're like, wait a minute, who's that in the background? Oh, this full-time nanny, child psychologist, teacher, maid, astronaut that lives with you in your home and has to do a bunch of shit for you every day. Like, of course, it's easier for you, Robyn. That's obvious. And you can't compare yourself to Christine if this is how you're choosing to live and this is how Kody is choosing to support you. You can have a full-time nanny. So I have to be really honest with you. What it comes down to me, it isn't all about Robyn or kids or whatever. It's really about Kody. Kody started all of this. He perpetuated it. He created problems. He walked away from the problems and let his wives eat each other up. He continues to highlight new problems, formulate and perpetuate grudges against everyone. And most recently, he's decided it would be a good idea to rewrite history about how things went down because Christina's done with him. So there's no possible way she could have ever been a good guy. Everything she did in the past must have been horrible and wrong. And it kind of looks like Robyn especially is going along with this plan. The two of them together are feeding each other, drinking down poison about the mothers of Kody's other children. It's interesting how crazy Robyn was acting in the beginning about trying to protect her kids. And yet, when it comes to caring about and showing that same level of devotion to the rest of the kids in this supposed family, she's not interested in showing any fairness or kindness. Because as long as her kids are getting what they need, what does it matter to her? I've thought many times that Robyn's life as a sister wife is pretty hard in certain ways. I believe she's the only one of the sister wives who actually desperately needs Kody. Or at least she's the one who believes she needs Kody. The other wives show a great deal of independence and willingness to speak out about many topics. But for Robyn, she's more like waiting in the wings, kind of talking to Kody behind the scenes and acting a little bit more like a puppeteer. Yes, she's manipulative in many ways, but I think she would have a really hard time going flat up against Kody. She doesn't have the strength of a Janelle or a Christine, in my opinion. Looking back on these clips, and there are a bazillion more of them, I just don't have the time or energy to show you. It appears like on the show, Christine especially was really trying to cement the family together. I'm sorry if it didn't work out, but maybe looking around and realizing that a lot of the decisions the patriarch Kody Brown made in your family are the decisions that tore everyone apart. That's not on Christine. Just my opinion. I would like to hear what you have to say below. And in the next video, I'm going to try to highlight a lot of the comments I get on this video because I want to talk about what my subscribers have to say about sister wives. Thank you so much for joining me down this rabbit hole tonight. I hope to see you back here again tomorrow.